Hey, good evening. Welcome to Freedom Speech and You. Looks like we got a couple of viewers. We have Modstar out there. We probably have another viewer back in the background. We're on early tonight because a couple of things are going on. Hal is supposed to come on later and do his thing, and we're not really sure if he's going to come on at 6 o'clock. So we're coming on before 6 o'clock, and this could be the shortest show ever. Hey, Jolie, good to have you here. So, we're just going to come on. We're going to talk. We'll see what happens. We'll see if the notification comes out from Hal, and we'll go based on that. Other than that, the weather outside my house is kind of at this point looking good. Hey, Carl, good to have you here. So there could be a rocket launch tonight, even though there's been like 3 real opportunities and 4 pretend opportunities in the 3, because one night they actually waved it off without waiting. One night they waved the rocket off like at the last minute or so. And I was just standing there going, did the rocket go up? Did I not see it because it was so clouded? Because there's been times where I've been super close and not seen the rocket, and you just kind of like keep staring at the sky and trying to go, well, is there any difference in the sky? Did it get any brighter? Is there a rocket behind those clouds? But no, nada. So out of the 4 times, there was just a lot of nothing. Because the first 2 times I went to go watch the rocket, were really the 3rd and 4th attempts. And so that's what it is. Andrea is resting her voice. Yes, she doesn't have any voice, and she just kind of just chastised me because I didn't give her a complete heads up. So at least I think that's what the tweet meant. So, I did kind of say to her that I might go early, but I didn't have an exact time. So, it is what it is. So let me just reply to that and just say, that sorry, I was running out of time. Should Hal Sparks start at the top of the hour? And so that message is sent. Okay, so back to everyone. So what did I want to talk about tonight? Well, I want to talk about tonight the stunt that the governor of Texas and the governor of Florida put on. It's a pretty mean kind of thing that they did, and I know that everybody else on talk shows has also talked about that. So, but it's really, really mean what they did to those people, those immigrants. And it shows that the only thing that the Republican Party is out to do is perpetuate itself, or at least try to do that, by perpetuating their stereotypes and their thing to. So, it's just what they do. They run their campaign that way, and they think that it's a good thing, but they completely have forgotten that what they're doing is human trafficking. And, doing that kind of human trafficking is something that they could get prosecuted for. Excuse me. So I hope that happens. Trying to think of her title right now. The Agriculture Commissioner of Florida, Nikki Fried, has already filed a action against the governor, or she will. So, that's something that's going to happen. So we'll see what that happens with. I think my other computer is actually just not ready for me because this is the early hour. And normally at this time, instead of talking to you, I am doing things with that computer to get it ready. So tonight may be just me talking to you and not presenting anything that would normally get presented on a screen. And that's fine because my time could be limited, as I said. And so we'll just deal with that. On the other hand, my computer may actually behave and I may actually be able to do stuff. And Carl Smith says DeSantis is an idiot who thinks a stupid political stunt will get him votes. It will get him votes, all right, the kind that will boot him out of office. I hope so, Carl. Jolie says DeSantis needs to be prosecuted for human trafficking. I just finished typing that when you said it, and you are reading my mind. I think we're all on that page because we've been listening to, well, for me, the first person who said it was Stephanie Miller or Hal. I'm not really sure which. Probably Hal talked about it first, then Stephanie Miller, then Stuttering John. And I didn't really see the others this week, but, I'm sure the others have talked about it. I'm sure that Richard Ojeda has talked about it. I'm sure that Glenn Kirscher has probably talked about it. I'm sure that Randy Rhodes has probably talked about it. I would expect that, Frangela probably talked about it, and all these other people, John Fugel saying, some of the people whose names I'm forgetting, but I can visually see them because they're guests on these various shows in Stuttering John and Tony. Yes, Kinky, they think they're all Christians. Good to have you here. But their definition of Christianity is not Christ's definition of Christianity. Whether you believe in Christ or not, if you believe what was written for years and what constitutes the Bible, and believe may not be the word for a person who's agnostic or atheist. So forgive me. I'm using the words that I'm familiar with. But if you measure things based on what's written down in what's called the Bible, then what they're doing is not consistent with that at all. Carl Smith says the American people these buttheads keep referring to are the Americans who will vote him and his kind out of office. Yes. Yeah. I mean, even Trump, for instance, to change the subject for a bit, Trump is talking about the fact that if you prosecute him, he's going to see Americans rise up. Yeah, we'll rise up, like one of our pundits said. Pretty sure that was Stuttering John. We'll rise up, we'll go to the streets, we'll party, and we'll go, hooray, if he's prosecuted, because we've been waiting for it for so long. So yes, we will rise up. As people might rise up and they might do stuff, but they'll be outnumbered because it will be a celebration akin to the likes of when Barack Obama was elected. Maybe a bigger one. So yeah, it'll be a good thing. Hey, good evening, Andrea. So Andrea did not get full advance notice of this broadcast. Sorry about that. But basically, I put it together. I came up with a title, and I just did get on about 15 minutes to 6. And so here we are at 6 o'clock Eastern, my time, 3 p.m. Pacific, and we're on, and we're just waiting to see what happens with Hal. Will he come on immediately? Will he be on in the next few minutes? Will he be on in an hour? Not really sure. So it's great to have Andrea here and our mod star here. And did I send the links out? The automatic link kind of went out. I need to put links in the Discord. So I will do that. So I'll put the links in the Discord. So y'all chat amongst yourself while I do that. And so I will jump on the Discord, get the links going. So next week, I will probably switch back to StreamYard for this broadcast, and that will improve a lot of things. It will get rid of the audio issue that we've been having on Andrea's end. It will make it easier to publish the links at the time the broadcast start, insofar as I'll be able to rip the links off. Because really with this, I don't believe there is a way to easily just see the links. I have to literally go to each social channel in order to get the links, in order to get them. But with StreamYard, I can actually open up each link from StreamYard itself. So that makes it a lot easier to publish the links. So apologies if anything freezes while I go grab links, because I'm using one computer to do everything. So YouTube, in case people are in Discord looking for it. So please keep talking amongst yourselves. Kind of hope and pray that Hal doesn't jump on immediately, so we have some time to talk to each other before he does. But, he's got his schedule, he follows, and that's his thing, and we do because we like Hal, and we don't fight it. We just accept what happens. So, good to see you tonight. So here is the YouTube link going to Discord. And I'm going to quickly jump back in here, and I see I have Andrea, Modstar, Carl, Kinky, Jolie. So those of you that are already here don't need an invite. I'll try to get everybody else here. So let me see. Julie, Wes. Okay. So invite going out to Wes. Invite going out to Robin. Invite going out to Carrie. And I messed that up, didn't I? Pitiful, pitiful. Grab the invite again. Invite going out to Jill. Invite going out to Mariah. Invite going out to Jim. Invite going out to Ziggy. Invite going out to Caitlin. Invite going out to Water Goddess, although she hasn't been joining us lately, so I don't know if I did something that made her not like to be here. Invite going out to Crystal. Send an invite to Low Rider, and I'll have to do one going out to Liberal Dan. One to Lizzie Dog. Didn't I just do that? Yes. Why? Silly, crazy. Wow. I did or didn't? No. For some reason, I didn't do him. Okay. I got him now. I was like, why didn't his name disappear? Invite going out to Templeton. I hope you all don't mind. One to Connie. to Caitlin. I sent one to Aaron earlier and one to Anviant. And that's all the people that I can invite. Okay, so Discord is done. So stuff is sent. And yes, we know if Falcon's on, you got to leave. Probably grab the Twitch, twitch.tv. Grab that. Grab that. Now I'm not going to worry about Facebook, because if anybody wants Facebook, they can just like say, I want Facebook. So that's live. Go back to the actual discussion, put that in there. And this is really going to stall me to do this, but I'm going to load the Twitter. So while I do the Twitter, I implore you to keep talking to each other. Be back shortly. And we'll see if I can go back and grab YouTube again. Do. Okay, so YouTube again. Okay, so tweets are out. All right, so the word is out. We're out, and I don't know that anything's going on, and that's my tweets are out. Okay, so let's see whether I can bring up the computer too tonight. I got to send my own self a link for that. So copy that and put that up there. So you get to see like all this stuff that I usually do ahead of time. It's like all this background stuff that I have to do to prep, including sending a link to Andrea. So it's just kind of the stuff that I do. So you see like time is involved. Get everything ready to get the show going. So, but you can't see my end of it. You can't see my computer, but it is what it is. Okay, so link is going, and go grab that. So what all do you want to discuss tonight? I mean, obviously, we have no clue as to how long we'll be here. I can tell you that that I kind of want to be here for a short time and then go out and go do some rocket launch thing, which I'll have to take water and a snack for that, and then come back and eat when I get back. So, but yeah, I just wanted to do the show. Um, Wanted to do the show for you, not cancel tonight, so as to have the weekly talk show and be able to talk about what you want to talk about. So just see what you want to talk about. I know that Kinky wanted to talk about something last time. So I could bring up that as a topic, but I have to like refresh my memory and just go look at it. So give me this second to load this up. I think that loaded. Cancel. Join. Okay, so that brings the computer in. Okay, turn the computer so I can actually use it. And of course, when I bring that computer in, it actually decides to freaking freeze. Also, I apologize if I seem super loud. I didn't set audio levels tonight, so maybe this is better. And I just kind of like wonder if I've been blasting your ears. Hopefully not. Y'all are really quiet in chat tonight. I don't know. I think you're just really along chill with me because I'm kind of in a chill mode. So, you know, there's just a generally chill atmosphere tonight. So, you know, because just kind of where my week has been, I've just kind of wanted to chill out this week, relax this week, try to do things that I want to do, like the rocket watching and all that sort of thing, and try to just de-stress. So, you know, it's what I've needed to do really for a long time. So, and my other computer is just like hanging and hanging. So it's probably not going to be a big presentation tonight. And it's mainly because it hasn't been too long since it rebooted with the latest Windows update. And so it's just, you know, it's almost like I gave it a drug and it's just like gone to sleep over there. It's frozen. I mean, literally my screen over there just kind of looks like my head is just leaning because it froze and just stayed there. So, you know, that's what's going on tonight. But Kinky did have a topic he wanted to talk about last week. So let me search my phone. So last thing I want to do is delete what he said. So Kinky said, your last podcast, I had to leave because there was an argument over what I was saying about Glenn Kirshner. He believes that Glenn Kirshner was wrong and says that he disagrees that Trump should have been arrested the day that Biden was sworn in or that Garland was sworn in several weeks later. And Kinky linked me to a video on CNN that has George Conway's reaction to what Trump has said specifically about Trump saying, if you try to prosecute him, there's basically going to be an uprising. And Kinky continues, none of this would be happening if laws already in the books were followed, and that Garland is failing the American people. So that's essentially what Kinky said. Now, back to Kinky, I wrote, Kinky, first I apologize. Oh, by the way, I'll stop and acknowledge Jolie. Jolie has a code again and would like to have some sympathy from anyone who has some they want to give out. So Andrea says that she sympathized and says, oh no, Jolie. And Jolie, I empathize with you as well. Sorry you were sick. Sorry to hear that. So I said to Kinky, continuing, Kinky, first I apologize if the show airs at a time that's inconvenient for you. It seems like you joined the show about the time that I'm very tired and ready to wind it down. Would you like to discuss these topics off camera on an app? I'm part of the Wisdom app, so you and I could talk to each other without being seen and others could listen. Essentially, it's a podcast without Andrea that would support the podcast with Andrea. Because if we did it at an odd time, or if we did it this week when Andrea can't speak, she wouldn't be able to participate. To get to your topic, on the outside, I agree with you. It would be nice if we had just arrested Donald Trump as soon as possible. The problem with that is, however, once we do, we cannot investigate him further. As Glenn Kirshner has warned, you do that and you freeze everything because now whatever new crimes he commits, you can't investigate him for it. This is legal, Kinky. Okay? This is the way the law works. You can only deal with the initial charges which his defense team can now begin to defend against. Now, talking about Trump, he's a very slippery person. He was president for 4 years. During that time, he convinced people that believe in him to violate many laws. Some of those people had the power to hide things, absolute power, because Trump was president. Jolie says, thanks, Andre and Ken. Why does sympathy make you feel better? Carl says, transmitting sympathy and best wishes for speedy recovery. To continue. We're receiving evidence of this right now. So we're receiving the evidence that Trump basically exercised absolute power. He didn't just steal the documents. He made copies and spread those copies all over the place and gave the information to who knows who. It's a very long tangled web of deceit. It needs time to be unraveled. We have to know how far the rabbit hole goes to the other side, where everything we believe and hold dear is written in this reverse language that the MAGA believe. By the way, these are all my words, okay? I may be embellishing as I read my own words, but these are my words to Kinky in an email. That's another thing. The top MAGA need to kind of believe that they're getting away with it so that they will continue to incriminate themselves. This is easy with Donald Trump. He follows right into this scenario. So I continued with Kinky. So let me know if you want to discuss this one-on-one. I'll let you have your say. Obviously, Kinky didn't contact me, so I'm reading what I wrote back to Kinky. And Kinky can obviously respond as he likes in chat. And the best part about it is, like Liberal Dan does, I can lift the audio and play it later because I figured that if Kinky and I were to talk off camera, I would play the audio. And I continue. I apologize to you, Kinky, and to everyone on the participating audience. I haven't been the best of myself because my wife has been gone for 6 months. My mind isn't always on the show, but I'll bring back StreamYard so that I'm not fighting the audio issue with Andrea. I will. This will cost me a little more money, but maybe it'll allow the show to focus on what it should. Thank you for reaching out to me. This is really what the show should be. We should interact with each other and listen to each other, even if we have disparaging opinions. You're not a troll, but maybe she thinks you are. Now, excuse me for saying that, but that's what I said to him. So I'm not trying to put words in Andrea's mouth, but I'm just saying that there may be a perception that Kinky refuses to accept ideas and beliefs regarding the government that we all otherwise believe. So forgive me for using the word troll, but sometimes we're all tired. And when we try to convince someone of our opinion, this is me talking off the cuff now, we can get very tired and we can get frustrated when people can't understand our opinion. So that was the way I was referencing. I said, she may think you're a troll. My interpretation, not Andrea's interpretation. She's free to speak for herself. You're not a troll. My interpretation. You're not a troll, Kinky. But maybe she thinks you are, and that was what I wrote. So forgive me for using those words. I tend to articulate in the manner in which I'm articulating at the time when I write what I'm writing. And it was early in the morning, so I may not articulate the way that I'm articulating right now. I continued, though, with Kinky. I said, I convinced her that Glenn was right. I still think he is. And I said that to Kinky because I think that Andrea at some point was kind of frustrated also with Merrick Garland. I think a lot of people that we know from Hal Sparks' show and the other shows that we watch are very frustrated with Merrick Garland. Go ahead and run, Andrea. Thank you for being here for the brief time that you were. Is Hal on? I'll have to check and see whether I missed a notification. If he's on, I'm not going to stay on much longer, folks. Anyway, I continued with Kinky. Part of the reason why is the justice system just doesn't work in the manner in which we see it on television. It's not like the old TV show or modern TV show where it's done in a few hours. It's a long, slow, tedious process. And criminals in real life, such as Trump, are much worse than what we see on television. Yet we grow up watching television and expect the court system to work the same way. Again, that's my interpretation of what I think Kinky is saying. Did Kinky actually say that? No. I'd have to know, and I would love to see what Kinky says, and I hope that he responds back to me or that he interacts in the show. I wrote to him again, and I said, one final thought. You wrote this at what amounts to almost midnight my time. There's a time difference between myself and Kinky of 3 hours. The offer to discuss off-camera stands. If I don't have to worry about what I look like, it would be a lot easier to just talk to you. Wisdom requires or suggests the use of real names, but I could use Anchor, which is what Andrea is using instead. I would just have to learn how to use it, or I could use StreamYard once I set it up. I did an audio interview before. Let me know. It takes a little time to set up. So basically that goes out to all of you. If you ever want to do an audio-only interview with me that we will edit down to usable things so I'm not breathing, drinking, whatever. Or if you say something and you later decide you don't want that said to everyone else, you can do an audio interview with me when I find time to do one with you. And we could have an audio interview. We could potentially get to some point where we do call-ins, but like Liberal Dan, I'm definitely going to want to know who's calling in and whether I want to talk to you, because I don't want somebody doing things that get my social media turned off, okay? Because then I can't talk to you. So that's what I wrote to Kinky, and that's what I was going to discuss today, along with discussing Donald Trump. And now I need to unlock my phone and see if Hal is on. So I'm going to quickly do that. No, not seeing that Hal is on, but maybe just maybe he's getting closer. So maybe that's what she was hitting, or maybe there was something else going on in Andrea's world that she couldn't discuss with us. Hal Sparks just tweeted a minute ago, you should see the fights I don't pick. That would be interesting. So y'all are extremely quiet in chat. I can only imagine that you're hanging on my every word, and that you're liking the Kenneth that you're seeing tonight. You know, somebody that is calm and cool and collected, and not frustrated at the world, and that's just kind of where I am. So, at this point, based on what I see, how Sparks is not on, I do see new emails. I'm going to bet that most of those emails are just stuff that is junk mail. So let me quickly peruse my emails with my thumb doing the deletion of the junk mails and see if all the emails disappear. I wish we could get paid for how many junk mails we have to look at every day. That would be awesome. Today's random question on Quora: have you ever gone to your sister's home and found something unexpected? I bet that's a good one. Not going to delve into it. Y'all go to Quora if you want to see that. A couple more deletions of junk mail. Junk mail, junk mail, junk mail. My kingdom for no junk mail. I got one new mail over here. That's probably me writing to myself and me having my channel live. Everybody wants to know what I think of their product. Y'all are super quiet tonight. Did I put you to sleep with this voice or what? Because if that's what's happening, that my voice is putting you to sleep tonight, I should talk like this all the time. We would all sleep better. Either that chat died. Maybe I should get on my own stream and make sure that my chat didn't die. So, did my chat die? Am I seeing a false representation of things? I'm cleaning while listening. Okay. Well, there's a chat. How about you, Carl? Are you still out there? We had Carl out there. We had our mod out. I show 4 people on YouTube and 1 person on Twitch. So I haven't seen the Twitch person actually check in, unless I missed the Twitcher tonight. I did have somebody who was supposed to be viewing me on Twitch, and I see Benny Loco. Hey, Benny Loco. Benny Loco says, no, it's not your voice. I'm just really meditated, listening and relaxing. Well, you know what? I self-meditated myself by the things that I've done this week that have allowed me to chill. So, yeah, I'm just super chill tonight. And I will reiterate what Andrea said recently in chat. Please hit the likes. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Aaron is checked in with us. Good to see you, Aaron. Aaron has put up the Motang. It's kind of cool that I can actually see the Motang, because some of those emojis and things sometimes I can't see. And so we're just hanging out tonight. I'm kind of wondering whether Hal's going to come on and when. Jolie is out there still. So what did I bring up earlier? Before you checked in, Benny Loco, I read an email that I interchanged with Kinky, and I think Kinky either stepped back and listened or wandered off or whatever, but I had interacted with Kinky because Kinky had discussed with me after last week that there was no chance to have a discussion about his feelings on Glenn Kirshner and why it's not pleasing Kinky at all whatsoever that Glenn Kirshner seems to be dragging his feet. Not Kinky's words, my words. And I know, did I say Glenn Kirshner instead of I bet I just said Glenn Kirshner and of Merrick Garland. My apologies to Mr. Kirshner. Merrick Garland is dragging his feet, but Glenn Kirshner is the reason why I know that Merrick Garland is dragging his feet, and Glenn Kirshner has been very good to explain that you can't have an investigation once you charge somebody with something. Once you charge somebody with something, your investigations have to stop, and now they can defend themselves, and you just have to build your case as is. So long as you haven't charged that someone with that something, you can continue to investigate them as much as you want. And as long as you don't charge somebody like Donald John Trump, he goes out there and does more stuff that you can charge him for because he's an idiot. Because he thinks he's above the law, and because he thinks that there's so many people that's going to back him up. Yeah, there'll be people that back him up. There'll be idiots on the street, just as there was on Jan 6. It's a very bad thing to think about that happening. But there'll also be people that were out there, whether they're in jail or not, that were out there on Jan 6 that will not be out there this time because they will not want to get prosecuted again. They will not want to be lied to and told that I'm going to get you out of jail for free. Ain't no get out of jail free with Trump unless he likes you. Just ask the people that he didn't get out of jail free. So that's kind of the thing that's going on. And earlier on when you weren't here, Benny Loco and Andrea, we talked about the stunt that the governor of Texas and the governor of Florida pulled, and how that is a definite instance of human trafficking, how Nikki Fried is going to prosecute him for it. So thank goodness for Nikki Fried. So let me mess with my computer over here. Okay. Let's see if I can get that laptop computer to go to Twitter. Go on there and find Nikki Fried's statement. Jail is for short timers and prison is for long haulers. When you see heads rolling, I'll know that justice is happening. Yes. Yes, my semantics may not be exactly correct, Benny Loco. I may say jail when I mean prison. But yeah, it would be very nice to see Mr. Donald John Trump in a supermax prison along with anybody who led the insurrection. So, Nikki and I, KKI. F-R-I-E-D. Okay, so Nikki Fried on Twitter. Go, little computer, go. Earlier on, Ahmad came on, mentioned how to support us on Patreon, so I will put that on screen. So how to become a freedom speech and you Patreon, go to patreon.com/freedom speech and you if you'd like to be a Patreon. So Benny Loco says, I'm very excited for the hearings on the 28th. Is it the 28th? No. Andrea chimes in and says, yes, it's the 28th. Benny Loco says they need to build a state-of-the-art max facility for all these goons offshore somewhere. Yes, that would be a good idea. Keep them in an Alcatraz-like situation where they can't get easily set free. So Nikki's tweet about what she was going to do in regards to the governor. Oh, she's got a video here too, so we could look at that maybe, see if that works for us. So let's share the screen. Chrome tab. Stop that little baby. Get up to screen size. Levels are good. Set the levels on here. So there's the video.
Political ploys. So this is backfiring on him. You're seeing individuals from both sides of the aisle, Democrats, Republicans, that are just outraged at this political ploy that has been now unfolding in front of the nation's eyes. But unfortunately, in Florida, we see these kinds of tactics from this governor every single day. And it's unfortunate now that we've got 50 individuals' lives that are part of this ploy that the governor is playing out.
Yeah, some of his socially hardline policies have not hurt him as much in sort of conservative, Republican, and even some immigrant groups. But this is directly attacking immigrants. Florida is home to, I think, 20% of Florida residents are immigrants. A lot of them in the Cuban-American community have not reacted to this well. I think at one point the lieutenant governor had to reassure the Cuban community that this would not happen to Cuban immigrants. Is that right?
No, actually, it's not. About 3 weeks ago, the lieutenant governor, who is of Cuban descent, actually went on, I think it was Fox, one national network, and basically said something very similar, that Governor DeSantis was going to bus Cuban exiles from Florida up to Delaware, Biden's home state. So this is a game that both the lieutenant governor and this governor is playing out with the lives on the line. And there was outrage, both from the Democrats, but also from Cuban Americans and Cuban Floridians who are seeing that this cruelty, individuals that are either first generation, they themselves may have been coming over from Cuba over the years, leaving Fidel Castro's communist regime of Cuba, coming for a better way of life, for freedom here in the United States. And now to see that their lieutenant governor and their governor are using them, as you said earlier today, pawns in the scheme that they're playing out. And we know what this is all about. Let's also be realistic here. Ron DeSantis is running for president in 2024. That is not, everybody knows that is what's happening here today. And now he is using not only these individuals, he's using Florida taxpayer dollars, money that was put into the budget to do something like this, a political stunt. And he did the same thing last year. He spent another $1.6 million.
Okay, I'm going to stop for a moment. Because I don't want MSNBC to think that we're just lifting all their video. So I'm going to acknowledge the fact that the video you're watching is something that was tweeted out by Nikki Fried. It's her interview on MSNBC. We're using this as it appeared on MSNBC and as tweeted by her. So if you want to see more of this kind of content, go to MSNBC. They are a great network, and by saying that and by doing that, I'm hoping that they don't hit me with a copyright strike, and I'm going to continue to show it to you. But I just wanted to say that so that they know we're acknowledging the fact that this came from MSNBC. Thank you. So hang on one second. Put the video back up.
dollars last year, sending our National Guard and law enforcement over to the border in Texas, again, for that political, picture, for that photo op. And this is what he is doing. And so what this is doing here in the state of Florida is outraging everybody, from the immigrant community, from those on the conservative right, Democrats, independents. And I think that he has been playing with fire. He has been, flying too close to the sun. And we all know the ending of that story. He's going to get burned. And this is just another one of his tactics that is backfiring on him.
I mean, just to be clear, it sounds like the lieutenant governor had to backtrack those comments that you referenced, saying it was a general discussion about illegal immigration not targeted at Cuban migrants that are fleeing a dictatorial regime. The fact that they are in this position now where they have to clarify which immigrants they're seeking to punish in a political ploy seems like bad politics. Now, you're calling on Attorney General Merrick Garland to get involved. What would you like to see the DOJ do here?
Okay, I'm going to pause this so that I can tell you, in case you're curious and you can't read it at home, that this host on MSNBC is Alex Wagner. So the show that you're watching this clip from is called Alex Wagner Tonight, just in case you want to go watch that yourself. Okay, thank you. I'm going to go back to the clip. Hang on one second.
I think that you just heard from one of the immigration lawyers previously that there is a lot of federal laws that are in place, whether it is human trafficking, whether it's RICO, whether it's smuggling or kidnapping. This is an opportunity for the Department of Justice to take a real heavy look, because no one's above the law. Not Ron DeSantis, not Greg Abbott, and certainly not Donald Trump. And so for them to be using these tactics, using taxpayer dollars, moving individuals across state lines, not only interfering with their own immigration status and their own immigration hearings, but playing with individuals' lives. This is an opportunity for the Department of Justice to be coming in to unravel what exactly has happened here. There is a lot of conversation about how actually these individuals were located, what kind of conversations were happening with them to lure them onto these planes, what misinformation and fraud was actually induced to get them onto the planes. And unfortunately, there's no trust here in the state of Florida that if we were asking for an actual internal investigation here in the state, we would never get it here in the state of Florida. I've asked for similar types of investigations when the governor just 3 weeks ago did something similar to 20 individuals that he came down to South Florida, had 20 individuals arrested for illegally voting in the 2020 election, even though it was his Secretary of State, his State Department, that authorized their eligibility to vote. And so I've asked for an internal investigation into those actions and what happened there. I know that I'm never going to get an answer to my call for an IG report in Florida. So the Department of Justice has an obligation right now to take a look at these actions, make the connections between what's happening with not only Florida, but Texas, who was involved in these communications, who paid for what, who knew of what. And this is really something that we need the Department of Justice to act on and act on quickly.
The Department of Justice once again being called to the state of Florida. I will refrain from comment there. Nikki Fried, Florida's Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Isn't she wonderful? That woman could have been our governor if more people had chosen her over Charlie Crist. But she is absolutely wonderful. So, Nikki Fried, everyone, our Florida Agricultural Commissioner. And again, please watch that show on MSNBC. Please support them, if you are so inclined, because that's where the content came from. So let me just go back, see if I can find Nikki Fried again while I'm looking. So I should be able to go back. And your comments. Let me read some of your comments. Okay, so that was I'm very excited for the hearings. Okay, I read that already. You need to build a state of the, okay, I read that already. Benny Loco asked, how the heck did DeSantis get into the office in the first place? Because the person that he was running against was an African American who was the mayor of Jacksonville. No. The mayor of Tallahassee. And so the Republicans painted the person running against him as being bad as a mayor of Tallahassee. And so that's kind of also, the racial game. Good old boy system. Yes, Benny Loco. Republican state, says Andrea. Benny Loco says, when I moved to Florida, it was like a 50-50 state. What the hell happened? Oh, I know. Meth, crack, booze, and now fentanyl. Yes, and years of history books written by people who were in line with the Daughters of the Confederacy. So, basically the history books down here are different than the history books in other places. That's part of it. So I was going to go back to Nikki Fried and see her actual statement. So let me go find it. I don't know how many days ago it was. Nikki Fried's September 15th tweet. Nobody is above the law and clearly nothing is believed that Ron DeSantis. Is that true or what? Also on September 15th, I just got off the phone with the White House. I'm asking the Justice Department to investigate Ron DeSantis' political human trafficking. On that September 15th date, it also appears he illegally used taxpayer money to fund this vile stunt. I don't care how long it takes, we will hold him accountable for this. And this is her actual letter. So let's see if we can read that. A way to get that big? Like, see if I can make that big. Every time I scale something big, go too far, it just like goes haywire. That's smaller. That's bigger. That's bigger. I feel like the optician. Bigger or smaller? Bigger or smaller? Okay. This is not going to be easy for you to read at home unless you have a big TV. It's not even easy for me to read. So I'm going to lean off camera. So excuse me while I lean off camera. I'm going to put it back on camera. I'm going to see if I can even read it from the screen. Oh, I know what would help if I full screened it. Still impossible for you to read. It reads, Attorney General Garland, as an independently elected member of the Florida cabinet, I'm writing to urge your office to launch an immediate investigation into the actions of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the transportation of 50 migrants by plane to Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts. The use of human beings to score political points is first and foremost detestable. Additionally, this maneuver raises serious legal questions and will have untold repercussions on the individuals caught up in the governor's political stunt. An investigation is necessary to understand who these immigrants are, how they were transported across state lines, and if their rights were violated. Early media reports described many of the migrants as Venezuelan, having first crossed the border in Texas before being released. It is unclear how or even if these immigrants arrived in Florida and found themselves being transported by plane from an unknown location to Massachusetts. One migrant reported a promise of housing and work if transported to the small island community. However, it is unclear who made this promise or if it will be fulfilled regardless of political shelter and job opportunities The decision to send 50 migrants to a small community without notice shows a complete disregard for the safety of the migrants and the resources necessary to adequately address their care. According to the media statements, the island's sole homeless shelter did not operate during the summer and can only accommodate 10 people, not 50, 10. My explanation, not her words. Thankfully, residents have stepped up to provide critical resources in the short term, but the long-term sustainability and consequences, the migrants' ability to attend their immigration court hearings are far from known. The needs on the ground will only be amplified should Governor DeSantis choose to use taxpayer dollars to traffic more human beings to this community as a political stunt. To use human beings as a political pawns, as the governor has done, is morally reprehensible, meriting an immediate investigation and appropriate action by the Department of Justice on behalf of the impacted migrants. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely, Nikki Fried, Commissioner of Agriculture, State of Florida. So that's what that says. Now, when I saw this on the news this morning, they said on the news this morning, on the news reports that I was watching, I believe from NBC or CBS, that these people were told, they're 50 different people, okay? They were told wherever they came from that they would have to check into all these different places in different points in the United States. You got to go. You're supposed to be checking into this place on Monday morning, which is not Martha's Vineyard, which is like someplace in another state, hundreds of miles away. You're supposed to check in Monday morning with this government agency. An agency name was named, because that's how you'll maintain your status as an immigrant and you'll maintain your ability to stay here. Now, mind you, I don't remember what the agency that was named. It does not matter, because the agency that they were told to contact is not the appropriate governmental agency for them to check in. It is not immigration and naturalization or whatever component of that agency that it's supposed to be for them to check in and maintain their non-resident alien status here. So basically, they're flown to Martha's Vineyard. They're way far from where they're supposed to check in, given disinformation, ensuring that they will not check in with their appropriate agency if they follow this information, ensuring that they will be deported. Okay, Benny Loca had said, I'm aware of how the Florida school system sucks. Wish I had known that before I built a place there, blah. Benny Loca also says, lean into it, Kenneth. We're not reading, obviously. Benny Loca says, now every Dem in the state of Florida needs to send a copy of that letter, sign it, and send it off. They do not get enough paper and mail from us over there in D.C. That would be awesome. That's a great idea. Jolie says, what kind of sadistic piece of shit do you have to be to mess with people's lives that way? As though human lives are just a game. Don't know. He's some kind of work, isn't he? He's some kind of work. He's willing to violate the law because he thinks he's above the law, like his former President Trump. He thinks he can do whatever he wants. He thinks he has so much power that he can be above the law, that he's willing to violate a human trafficking law, a law ostensibly constantly beat into our heads by Republicans. Because according to the Republicans, We're supposed to be the people we are, and we're not. But in their eyes, we're supposed to be the people abusing people and human trafficking people and trying to use children and babies and whatever for our own, while they're the people actually doing it. They're the ones doing it. They're the ones abusing people. They're the ones separating people. They're the ones who took children from their parents. Biden got in office. Trump was out. Biden gets in office and starts clearing up the Trump's mess, where Trump separated children and parents and sent children over here to detention cells and parents to God knows where, back to wherever they came from. Didn't write any bit of it down. Didn't keep any records about who these kids are and who those parents are. Didn't give a damn. And Biden has to piece those families back together because of what Trump did. And DeSantis is basically doing the same bullshit, except he's grandstanding for his re-election as governor and his impending run as president candidate. I hope they send the man packing. Jolie says, everything Republican blames Democrat, you can be damn sure they're the ones doing it. Exactly. Benny Loco says he's Donnie 2.0. Yes, he is. Benny Loco also says we're still waiting for justice. Indeed, we are. We are waiting for justice on behalf of those families. So, yeah, I mean, got to get justice for those families. So, right now we're at 6 o'clock, almost 7 o'clock. I'm going to briefly look at my phone and see if there has been any change in the attempt of the rocket. I almost wish I had like a best of. I do have videos, but I don't think I would want to play a best of. I think I would rather like stop the broadcast and come back, maybe do more broadcasts later, rather than do a best of. But I'm just going to go look at here and see if the rocket launch is still supposedly on. Nothing tweeted. I guess it's still on. So either I got to watch the rocket launch from here and leave like at the last minute, or I'm going to leave to go do my thing. So bear with me. I think I got a copyright strike the last time that so I'm not going to do it tonight. Okay, it takes me about 20 minutes or so to get where I'm trying to go tonight. So if I do want to cut it down to the last minute, I have almost another hour. So let me see. What else do we want to talk about? Y'all want to throw up some topics that you want to talk about that we haven't talked about yet? Is there anything we didn't talk about? I know that Benny Loco mentioned the hearings. I don't know if there's any kind of agenda for the hearings yet. Let's see, agenda for September. I'm going to think it's September. Oops, 28th, 2022, Jan 6 hearing. Okay, 3 days ago, House Sentencing were continuing to December 28th. I wonder which one of these. I don't know if this will let me show it or not. Okay, yeah, there's a document there to read. That will work. Let's hope it doesn't suddenly decide to go all, paywall on me. Kinky Street says, how come Stuttering John doesn't copyright his program so no one else can replay it? The Canadian Raccoon Whisperer did, and no one can replay his YouTube videos in any way. He does rewrite his beer on the balcony, so he will go after people over that. So yeah, he does copyright beer on the balcony. So this is the thing that I was going to read, and of course everything's gotta have ads on it. Hi TV2 Live, good evening, good to have you here. We started earlier tonight because we're anticipating maybe Hal Sparks coming on soon. Not really sure when or how or whatever. All of Stuttering John stuff is replayed, beer on the balcony included. Yep. I mean, I know those people violate the copyright, so we'll just have to see if John's lawyer can prosecute him. Does anybody know Donald Trump's email? I can enter Donald Trump's email in this box. I don't know. Can I move my camera over that? I can move my camera. How about noops? That just flip-flops. Okay, so that doesn't work. So flip-flop. All right. Well, I'm not going to move the camera. So anyway. All right. Let's see. Can I read? John doesn't need a lawyer. And Andrea reiterates what I said earlier, that beer on the balcony is copyrighted. So let's see, if holy moly, it's like, is there enough ads on this stuff? It's like, you know what? Instead of putting it on the screen, because it's just not working good for me to put it on the screen, I am going to instead see if I can read it. Maybe I can get it to work if I get that off. So let's see. Let's see if when I put it back on the screen, it lets me. Frustrating. I didn't know I did not want to stop it. I wanted to start it. Well, all right. So, looks like I finally got the ad. Okay. Jan 6 Committee Chairman Rep. Benny Thompson, Democrat, Mississippi, said this week that House Committee is looking at resuming its hearing on Wednesday, September 28th. He said, and I quote, "That's the goal at this point." He continued, "We're looking at the process of being able to look at the report as well as closing the loop on any potential witnesses." And the article says it would be the first such gathering since the panel concluded its summer sessions on July 25th. Per Political, Thompson also said that the intention to create an interim report by mid-October and finalize the document before the end of the year. So Andrea says, it's not for us to decide what John needs or not needs to do. The decision is ultimately his. And Kinky says, my bro was senior policy advisor, DOJ and DHS to George H.W. Bush, Clinton, G.W. Bush, and Obama. Kinky says to Andrea, you argue about proven points. Please ignore me. Yeah, y'all just agree to get a disagreement between the two of you about how to see the world, because like that's what we all have to do. We have to agree to disagree. We have to hold our own opinions. That's what being American is. And Kinky, your interpretation that Andrea treats you like a child may be your perception and not what she's trying to say or do. So sometimes, we perceive things based on what we've experienced. So don't necessarily read more into someone's reaction and what really is there. Because that's I know, Kinky, others have said that about Andrea, but you must understand that our perception of the world is based upon what we were taught and what we have experienced. So if your perception of the world is to see a strong woman as being a mother over you, that's your perception of the world. That's not necessarily the person's intent. It's much the same way, although different, with Republicans thinking that it's impossible for them to have their freedom if we disagree with them. And the opposite is true, because the Constitution says that everyone is supposed to have their freedom so long as they don't violate the rights of someone else. So the fact that Andrea does not agree with you is not a violation of your rights. It's just a disagreement. Benny Loca says, I'm tearing into a stuffed pepper. Oh, Benny Loca, you make me hungry. You're eating, but I will survive. I will eat late tonight like I did other times. Kinky says, in 1992, I beat Toyota in a lawsuit. In 91, I beat GM in a lawsuit. Total winnings about 100,000. I know law. Did all legal work in both cases. My lawyer was senior editor for Consumer Reports. He signed off. Yeah, I mean, if we were in a court of law, which we are not tonight, there is winning and losing in a court of law. But a podcast is not a winning and losing thing. A podcast is where you get together to discuss ideas, and you may not agree on all those ideas. And that's just fine, because that's the essence of what this podcast is about. The essence of what this podcast is about is to discuss our ideas and have to say. Now, occasionally, on all the other podcasts that we watch, you can discuss your ideas. You might get some say with the host. But this is the one podcast where you'll get far more say with the host or the co-host when Andrea is able to be here. So that said, I mean, we don't have to agree. I know your point didn't have anything to do with this podcast. And you're what I refer to, and please don't get offended by this, as a literalist. You're a literal person. You believe that the topic that you're discussing right now is the only topic that matters. And any analogy that does not fit within your definition of a good analogy is not an analogy. And I'm the person who has a wide variety of analogies that don't usually meet other person's musters of what an analogy is. So forgive me, because that's just the way I talk. I'm not a lawyer. I wasn't raised as a lawyer. I don't have a law-like experience. I don't have to speak words as though there is a person's outcome, their livelihood, their freedom based on the words that I say. So I may go off on tangents and I may say things differently. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that it's perfectly all right that there is a difference of opinion. And as a lawyer, you may know differently than I do. You may know, as you just said, that if Trump is arrested, the investigation doesn't stop. But cite the law. And we'll go read the law together. And I may not understand it the way that you do because I'm not a lawyer. I'm going based on what Glenn Kirshner has said. Glenn Kirshner is my resource for what I'm citing. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Yeah, you said law. I mean, you're saying, you said, and I quote, can you say if Trump is arrested, the investigation stops, that is wrong? Are you saying it's wrong because it disagrees with your ideals, or that it is wrong as in there's a law that allows the investigation to continue? The law that Glenn Kirshner knows is what says that things stop. Because the moment you arrest Trump, then the charges that you've charged him with, oh, I'll go find it. He's said multiple times that the investigation stops if Trump is arrested. Let me go find a clip of that. But we were going to discuss this, so I'll throw this away and come back to this maybe later. Or maybe not tonight. So that'll be in my history. I can come back to that. Discard that. And go find Glenn Kirshner. It's 8 days ago. 7 hours ago. Those are the most recent ones over there. So let's see if this is really, really recent or not. But I've heard him say it on Stephanie Miller's show. Notification. So this, yeah, this is from the article's from today. So let's see what this article says, because maybe this article also reiterates what I was saying. but I know that I've heard him say it. And y'all have been catching up on chat. Kinky says many investigations continue after people are arrested. I know, maybe so. Again, not a lawyer, not a police officer. Welcome back, Carl. And Kinky says, why does Glenn always say, what's the DOJ waiting for? Trump's speak is inciting people to commit crimes. Yes, he is, Kinky. Kinky says that's equivalent to screaming fire at a theater. One, yes, it is. Benny Loco says she was cleaning up. Robert K. joined us. Hey, Robert K. I was at farm stand today and bought sweet peppers. Oh, you guys are making me good. I'm looking for something that Glenn said on Stephanie's show. Something he referenced about the investigation stopping. But I'm going to read this article from Yahoo Sports, of all places, that talks about what Glenn Kirshner is doing. So the article is entitled, a former federal prosecutor says he's waiting to see Trump punished for inciting the Capitol riot because his foot soldiers who showed up on Jan 6 have been convicted and imprisoned. This is by Lilina Desnova, and it's dated today, and it was published at 12:40 this afternoon, and there's the Trumpies. And I'm going to skip over the bullet points. Former federal prosecutor Glenn Kirshner said Donald Trump's foot soldiers, okay, I just read that, are getting punished for their participation in Capitol riot, but he's so far been free of consequences. Kirshner, a staunch critic of the former president, in an interview with MSNBC Accountability, and said it is a, quote, deep injustice, end quote, he has yet to be punished for his role in the insurrection. But Kirshner continued, in quotation, the boots of the insurrection, the people that Donald Trump ordered to attack the Capitol, go down there and fight like hell or you won't have a country anymore, to stop the certification of Joe Biden's win. Those people are in court every day. They are being tried, convicted, and many of them are being imprisoned, said Kirshner. Kirshner added, quote, you don't know, oh, excuse me, correction. Kirshner added, you know Donald Trump who gave the order. Sorry if you're hearing audio. I do not hear audio. These darn videos. Donald Trump who gave the order has a tea time every morning and is enjoying his liberty. He hasn't had one moment of accountability. Visit him yet. Let's hope to heck that change after the midterm. So, quote, Glenn is saying that he hopes that Trump is going to pay for his crimes after the midterms. The article continues, Capitol riot left 5 people, including 1 police officer, dead. Organizers were emboldened by Trump's urges to protest the results of the 2020 election. 910 have been charged in regards to that. Last month, Kirshner said Trump launched, quote, an armed attack on the Capitol to stop the peaceful transfer of presidential power, end quote, and predicted he might be indicted for treason. And that is from an article on Business Insider. So this is just not very much of a thing. Hey, Costa Rica. Happy 420 somewhere. Specifically in California. Happy 420. So, not too much in that article, not very much. And still not the information that I cited. So maybe if I go look for Glenn Kirshner on Stephanie Miller, I'll find it. So Glenn Kirshner. Stephanie Miller. Y. No. UNDICT for Trump. That's from March. That's way too far back. June, August. August. Maybe this is the one. No, that's an old one. Really old. I mean, basically everything I'm seeing is Glenn Kirshner supporting your argument, Kinky, that he would push to have the DOJ step up. So I'm not really sure what day he said that which I'm citing. But I've heard it more than once. Wonder if he said it on Stuttering John, so I don't know. Hi, Ghost of Gunner. Have we been live lately? No, we were live last week. We only go live once a week. And I'm not sure if you're talking to Benny instead of me. I don't really know. So. There's some stuff going on. I think these things I see on Discord are between Jim and Andrea. Yeah. Discussion between Jim and Andrea. Okay. And everyone that is chatting on YouTube, will you kindly go to the YouTube where you see at the top of the chat? If you see top chat up there at the top of the YouTube, click on that and change it to live chat. We're not giving out the Discord because we had some people infiltrate Discord. So if we put Discord in this chat, we'll have some people do some stuff to Discord. So we're just not giving out Discord. You can email us. I will put that up. But we're not publishing the Discord invitation, so that we don't get people in Discord that are just going to spam us with stuff. Unfortunately, I mean, we could put it up, but it's not a really great place to contact us. And the fact that people could use it at all hours of the night, I'm the person who has to go to sleep at a certain point, so that's just kind of why. So I'm still kind of looking forward to going seeing a rocket tonight. That's where I am, because based on what I hear outside, the weather's going to hold up for me based on what I see. And of course, I could still go up there and nothing happens again. But that's what I'm looking forward to. So I was thinking, unless you have something that you want to discuss, I'm probably going to pull the plug on this part of the broadcast, and I might come back if they cancel it and start another broadcast a little bit later in the evening. So I hope that's okay with everybody. I don't know what's going on with Hal. I don't know if he's going to come on later. Because obviously in Hal's time, it's only 4:25 p.m. So if he's going to come on like at 5 o'clock his time, he could be on at 8 o'clock for me. And we don't discuss why other people are blocked on other shows. What people do on their shows is strictly their business. So what happens on this show in reference to modding is up to my mods. Thank you to my mods. Thank you to Modstar who brought up the Patreon. So there's the Patreon if you want to donate. If you can donate, please do. You will support new technology for Andrea so that on better support her participation in the show. We mentioned earlier that we were going to get back to StreamYard, because then we will not have the audio problem at all whatsoever. And I just haven't set that up. And I really honestly believe that if I had rushed to set that up today, that it probably would not have worked, because there might have been a necessary 2-day wait to get YouTube to acknowledge that it's connected to something else. So that's highly possible. I'm seeing a little bit of lagging, probably because I have something open on the other computer. So I will probably work on that this week to do the thing. Are you shadow banned? No, nobody is shadow banned. If I can read your comments, you're not shadow banned. I think that there's some people that think that they can't read their comments, and I really, really, really wish YouTube had never invented what's called top comments, because top comments are basically a setup where you can only see the most frequent commenters. And so if you come in after everybody else has been commenting and you're new to the stream, you're not going to see yourself on top comment mode. So that's just kind of the thing. Jim says I'm feeling grumpier than usual. Well, I don't know. I don't know why you're grumpier, Jim. But folks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the computers on. I'm going to pull the plug on this episode show, and I may come back with another episode in a little bit. So I give you about maybe about 5 or 10 minutes to say goodbye to each other. Today's your last day of smoking, Jim. Congratulations. Hey, Ghost of Gunner, whatever you do, with John, that's your John thing. The idea here is to try to not precipitate the things that, this is like not a place to come to talk about other shows or what you dislike about other shows or all that sort of thing. I mean, in general. If you're coming here to say that you dislike another show, you might say, I dislike so-and-so because every time I chat with so-and-so about something, he never reads my comments or she never reads my comments. And, some of us, like you say, Ghost of Gunner, are here for conversation. I find a lot of times that I'm in chat for conversation, and then I don't know what the host talked about. And other times, I'm totally into what the host is talking about. And, it's just what goes on, so. I was sending you a graphic put on screen when people ask you about live chat. Maybe so. I mean, that might help. I don't know. I think, Carl, that some people are here to just quote unquote like yank my chain, so to speak, to see how I react to negative comments about their ability to chat. And I'm getting smarter about that. So it's just kind of just what the thing is, you know. And guess what? House Sparks is live, folks. So I'm going to send you on your way, say goodbye, and tell you to go watch House Sparks. So please, and Jolie, get better. Please get better. I'm sorry you've got COVID. You know, do what you got to do to get better. And everybody, we'll see you later. Ghost of Gunner, no, you've not been negative. You've been really nice tonight. Happy to see you. Happy to see everybody here. Please go enjoy House Sparks. I will be listening on my way to where I'm going. So I will not be chatting with you, but get out of here and go enjoy the show. Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Freedom Speech and You. Okay. Jim says I'm not watching how. Well, then you got to talk to me maybe for a few more minutes as I shut the stream down, and I'll chat with you in chat as I play the video and get myself out of here, because I really want to go watch a rocket, and I'm hoping I'm going to get lucky tonight. 2 thumbs up for luck. You know, thanks Jolie, thanks Jim, thanks Modstar, thanks Benny Locos, thanks Robert, Kinky Streets, Ghost of Gunner, Andrea Brower. Who else is here? Kinky Streets. Did I say your name already? I'm starting to feel like Stuttering John, saying people's name twice. Anybody I'm missing? Carl Smith, there you are. So I think I got you all. I don't know if anybody else is here, and anybody that watches this later on because you tuned in late and got the link late. Sorry about the different time tonight. Sorry about the announcement, especially to my co-host, Andrea. Thank you to Modstar for modding. Thank you to Andrea for modding. I hope you had a simple evening tonight, because we really didn't have a troll tonight, and that's pretty freaking awesome. So enjoy the hell. I'm getting out of here. I will say my goodbyes and chat to you as I play the video, so that if anybody is tuning in, whatever, they get the video at the end.